I have officially released the new version 2 of the wallet setup comparison tool. It is spectacular. It's gonna blow your mind, and we're gonna cover it today. First things first, if you find any value in this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to be referencing a website. It's mine. You can use it for free. Just come over here to the sign up button, click on one of these buttons, and you are in. Now, I've been working on this for about 9 months now, and to say that this was a complicated endeavor is an understatement. But let's not mess around. Let's dive right into a demo and show you what's new. So from the homepage, we just want to click on the wallet setups link in the navigation. And here we are, the new V2. It's denoted as V2. If you want to go back to the old version, it is still here. I know that people tend to not like change. I just want to do the same thing I've been doing forever. If you want to do that, at least for a while, I'm going to keep that under this link right here. You can click on this button and this will take you to the old V1 wallet setups tool. It works the same as it always has been. What you can do, and what I would appreciate, is if you want to compare the old to the new in terms of net values and calculations, just to make sure that I haven't made any mistakes, feel free, check my work. I am all about that. I do that too. I go back and forth and check it on the old one, check it on the new one, make sure that the calculations are all the same. You are more than welcome to do that as well. But I will say that the new version is pretty awesome. Give it a chance. So we'll come back over here and get started. So first of all, you'll notice that the starting layout is much different. We have the ability to add single cards to a wallet. You have the ability to just instantly click and add all your cards to a wallet. I'll show you what that looks like. So you click on that button and boom, all of my cards are there instantly. To remove all the wallets, you just click here to go back to the start. You can also click here to quickly get to any wallets that you have saved in the My Wallets section, which can be found over here. So you can create wallets to compare other wallets to other wallets. You can save and store those here as well. Then we have below is the popular credit card setups. So I just have a bunch of quick and easy options that you can choose to just populate a wallet very quickly. It also has these little quick filters over here. So if you just want to go straight to Chase and pick the Chase trifecta, you can do that and boom, you've got your Chase trifecta in your wallet. To add another wallet, you click here and you basically have like a smaller version of that home screen in the little card manage panel that slides out. So you can quickly add all your cards, or you can quickly add from your My Wallets, or you can quickly add from a popular setup. So if you just want to grab Amex, you can click on the Amex filter and then grab the Amex trifecta, for example. All right, so we'll apply that. And now you've got two wallets that we're now comparing to each other. You're going to see all of these sections on here. You can disable these if you want. So if you're a credit card YouTube creator and you don't want to spoil the ending of your argument of to what card is better than another card or what wallet setup is better than another wallet setup, you can disable that and talk your way through both setups. And then at the end, you could click it and then boom, there's your exciting conclusion. This is much better than that, and here's the net value to prove that. So you can do that. Or if you just don't care about the card details, you just want to get straight to the spending categories, you can just turn those off and then there's the spending categories. And at any time you can just click on hide section over here. It's always up here to turn it back on. And then if you have them all off, for example, and you scroll down to the bottom, it's always there to turn those on too. So you can turn on the benefits. And then if you scroll down all the way to the bottom of the benefits and you want to turn on the spending categories and go to those will snap you there. So a quick and easy way of getting around at all times, hiding, showing information that's important to you at your fingertips. And then we also have an advanced settings button over here, which will give you more power to the display as well. So all the display options that you have up here and at the bottom are in the advanced settings. If you're showing the card benefits here, then you'll have the ability to filter out benefits without values or benefits that are low value according to the website. So you can basically filter those out by clicking on those filters. If you don't like the new card layout, which does make it a lot easier and it doesn't stack them forever, so you have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So for example, let me just add my cards because there's a bunch of those and apply that. There's a lot of cards here. It would be scrolled way down in the old version, whether you liked it or not. This way you have a choice. You can come here and click on the advanced settings and you can show the vertical fan layout if you would like, if that's your preference. And then you've got them all listed down here. Again, that's to me, it's a little bit of a wasted space, so I'll be using the new layout. But if you like it, I've put it in there for you. Options are great. You can also, in the spending category, so if you have spending categories enabled, you can display what's more important to you. Are the earned points more important to you on each category? Are the equalized points based on the value of those points more valuable to you to highlight? Or is the cash value, and this is brand new, is the cash value more important? How much am I making off of this card based on my annual spending? So you can turn that on and that will highlight the cash value, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if we come over here to the spending categories, now it's going to tell you how much cash you are earning in that category on that card. Now, some of these look a little ridiculous. I have a test that I'm gonna show you here in a second, but it shows you the cash value. And again, if earn points are more valuable to you to display and sort of see up front, then you can change it to earn points. And now it's gonna show you what the bank gives you in terms of points. So we know that for dining, the gold gives you 4x, right? The value of those points are gonna feel like 8x based on the value of those points according to the pointsguy.com, cent per point, blah, blah, blah. That's gonna be there. You'll always have all three options if there is an option for equalized points. Some cards are cash, so you're gonna get 1 cent per point, so it won't show an equalized value there, but it'll always show the cash value, the earned points, and then if there is one, equalized points value. So if you come over here to the equalized, then it will highlight that one, but it's always going to tell you what the winner is based on the total cash value of that category based on your wallet. Now, I didn't say based on the card, because it's no longer based on the card, because some cards have spending caps. That is brand new functionality in this new V2 where it adheres to spending caps, and that includes quarterly earning cards. So let's cover that. So let me clear out my wallets. I have an annual spending for, just as a wallet test, I just have some big spending in weird categories so I can exercise those spending caps and show you how the spending caps, when they cap out, work in the wallet comparison. So I've got 30,000 on groceries, 2,400 on gas stations, 55 on dining, 8,000 on Amazon, and 50,000 on all other. Okay, so that's just my little sample to sort of demonstrate what happens when spending caps are hit. So we'll come back over to the wallet setup screen and we'll click Amex and we'll add in the American Express cash cards. All right, because they have spending caps, right? So, and then we'll come over here, do one more. We'll do Amex again, and we'll do the Amex trifecta. I'm gonna apply that. And then we'll add one more wallet, go to the popular setups, click Chase, and we'll do the Chase trifecta, okay? And we'll apply that. Now, let's just disable that for now and go straight to the spending categories. We'll just start with the Amex Express cash cards. And so we'll scroll down here to, let's say, groceries, where we know we get 6x on the Blue Cash Preferred, but we also know that it has a spending cap of $6,000 a year. So we'll click on that and you see it right here. So the annual spending that we need to cover is $30,000 in groceries. We know that the Blue Cash Preferred cannot cover that on its own. So it shows you that it has a spending cap. It shows you that what it's used in this session for this category. So it started with 6,000 and it ended up with 0. So it used the entire spending cap for the coverage that it needed. So it needed to cover $30,000. It could only apply $6,000. It shows you the equalized points for the $6,000 that it used. So 6x times $6,000 is $360. And then it shows you the annual spending remaining that it still needs to cover on this category. And then it gives you an alert, says this card has reached its spending cap. So we know that it didn't cover this whole thing. It maxed out everything it possibly could. And then it falls back to the next best card. The next best card is the American Express Blue Cash Everyday. It only gets 3x on groceries. And it also has a spending cap of $6,000. So it's gonna go through that same process. Starts out with $6,000, ends up with zero because it exhausted everything that it had in its spending cap. So it needed to cover $24,000. It could only apply $6,000. The equalized points, 3 times 6 is 18,000 points, $180. So by the way, it's adding all this up. So it's taking 360, it's taking 180, and it's adding it up and totaling it up here in the total cash value, which is what displays over here when you're in the main page. So we also ran out of coverage. The annual spending remaining is now $18,000, and you get the little alert, hey, this exhausted everything. And then it falls back to the next best card. And the next best card is just the same card, but it's at 1x. So now it's covering $18,000 at 1x. You get 18,000 points, that's $180. And then annual spending remaining, we covered everything. It's at zero now, so we don't have to fall back to anything more. But the 180, 360, that's our 720. And that's how much money we made on the grocery category for the wallet we have in this column. And again, it has a little summary up here. We needed to cover 30,000 and we made $720 with that coverage. Okay, so back over here on the middle column for the American Express trifecta, we got the Blue Business Plus, the Gold, and the Platinum to cover these categories. Now, the Blue Business Plus is covering the all other category. The annual spending it has to cover is $50,000. It has a spending cap of $50,000. So it's going to use all 100% of its spending cap. It tells you how much money it's gonna earn and then that it used everything, but nothing else is needed. So it doesn't have another card that is falling back to, because it covered the whole thing, but now it's at $0 for the remainder, and we track that. So in the next category, if it's needed, you won't be able to use the Blue Business Plus card at all. So if we came down here to groceries again, for example, and the annual spending is $30,000, that's how much we need to cover with the cards. And the American Express Gold caps out at $25,000. So we know that's not gonna cover everything. So again, we say, okay, here's what we have, and then here's what's left over when we cover this. And we end up with $5,000 left over. And then instead of falling back to the Blue Business Plus at 2x, it cannot because it already capped out, then it's going to fall down to the next best card. The next best card is just 1x from the Gold, so it uses that. And if you show unused here, it shows that it wanted to use the Blue Business Plus. It was next in line, but it didn't have any spending remaining. So it wasn't used at all during this calculation. And then the same thing for dining. It had to cover $55,000. It has a $50,000 cap. It's gonna have a remainder of $5,000, which Blue Business Plus can't cover because it's already been exhausted, and it just covers it with 1x. And it calculates all that again in the cash value, and that's how much you make and how it shows. And it also determines who the winner is. So it's not based on this card is 4x and this card is 3x and this card is 1x. That's not how it judges the winner of each column. It's based on cash value. So even if this was 2x and this was 3x, it doesn't necessarily mean, because if this one had a spending cap and the 3x stopped quick and went to 1x, whereas this was unlimited 2x, then this might end up being the winner based on the cash value that it makes. All right, so let's come over here to very interesting formula, and that is on the quarterly categories. So we have the Freedom Flex, is covering Amazon at 5x. Now in the old one, it would not be covering this at all because we are not in a quarter that covers Amazon right now. And so it would not see that the flex covers Amazon ever because it just is going on what are the categories that it covers right now. And so it would skew it a little bit throughout the year. So if it had groceries in its quarterly category and you're in that quarter, it would act like it would cover groceries at 5x unlimited because it didn't have spending caps. It didn't consider spending caps, didn't consider quarterly categories at all. It just goes, oh, well, this card earns 5x, so we're in a grocery quarter, and you're just getting 5x to cover the entire year. So deeply flawed, but it's a very complex calculation because what I do is I take the last 4 quarters. I take this quarter and the previous 3 quarters, and I say the flex, because it's a quarterly card throughout the year, because we're doing an annual coverage spend, that it covers all of these categories that it's covered in the last, this quarter and the last 3 quarters. So it puts those in its realm of what I can cover. Now, obviously, I can't see the future. I don't know that it's going to be in 2 quarters from now something different than it was last year at that quarter. So we just kind of, go based on the last year. It's as close as I could possibly get to what it might be in the future for you. So this one in the past had covered Amazon, not in this quarter. So it is now covering at 5x. Now, like with the other cards, it does have a spending cap, $1,500, but that's a quarter, not a year. So the other 2, actually the other 4, all the Amex cards that we talked about before with caps, they're yearly caps, not quarterly caps. This one is a quarterly cap. So it covers $1,500 a quarter. So I don't automatically go, well, it covers $1,500 a quarter. That means it's going to cover $6,000 a year for Amazon. It's not even going to cover $1,500 across a year. So if your Amazon spend was $1,500, it can't cover 100% of that because that's across a year. It can only cover a quarter of that. Of course, you could say, why only spend on Amazon for that 1 quarter? Great. Okay, that's great. But let's be realistic. And generally, spend is across the year. And for the calculations, we're going to assume that it's going to be a quarter of your spend. So what it does is it takes the $8,000 and it only allows, so this is applied to the Discover It cashback as well as the regular OG Chase Freedom card, because all 3 of those are quarterly category chosen by the bank. And so it's going to take the $8,000, it's going to split it into 4, and then it's going to allow the $1,500 cover whatever that is. So $8,000 is going to go over that. So it's only going to apply what it possibly can apply to that quarter. So, but it applies the $1,500, it caps out, and then it falls down to the Chase Unlimited. So let me go over to the annual spending and change this to be $1,500. So the danger here is that it would just cover all 15 because it has a $1,500 spending cap. Then come back. Okay, now it's $1,500 for spend for the year. Now it's not going to apply all $1,500 because it's not supposed to. It can only apply a quarter of whatever this is. Even though it doesn't hit its spending cap, it does hit the quarter cap for that amount. So since this is $1,500, it can only apply $375 to it. So it has spending left over, which can be applied to a different category in the same exact quarter. It has to be in the same exact quarter. It has $1,125 left over for, I believe, streaming is the category in that same quarter. So if we had streaming on the spending, the annual spending, it would apply whatever was remaining to the streaming category. And then because it capped out for that quarter, then it falls down to the unlimited. So, and let's go ahead and show that. So I'll come over here to the annual spending. I'll put streaming and we'll just do 800. So we'll save that. come back over to the wallet setups, and then we'll come down here, and now we got Amazon. Like we said, it's only going to cover $375 because that's a quarter of $1,500. And then we'll come down to the streaming, and now see right there, it had 1125 left, $1,125 left. It says, okay, I'm starting with that, and now I'm going to apply a quarter of $800, which is $925, or $200, which is leaves it with $925, and then the rest is picked up by the preferred streaming because 5x is better than 3x. All right, and then on the groceries, which is a completely different quarter, it's going to start out with $1,500. It doesn't count. It doesn't even consider the other $1,500 because that was a different quarter. So it tracks each quarter individually and makes sure that it doesn't mix that up. So in groceries, different quarter, you get the full $1,500. And since it's a $3,000 spend, it can use the entire $1,500 for that quarter and then falls back to the unlimited for the rest of the spend. Let's go back. And one other feature I want to show you is at any point in time, like if you're scrolling down the page, you can click on the labels up here and edit the cards that are in the wallet. Or if you're at the top, then you can just click on the cards and it'll show you cards in the wallet. Now, if you want to just remove all the cards quickly, if you've got a bunch of cards in there, you can click that button, or individually, you just click the red X. You can click on the card, it'll take you to that card's page. If for some reason you want it ordered in a different way, now if there are equal cards that are gonna do similar coverage, you can prefer another card over another one by just moving that to the top, and it'll consider that card before it considers the other cards. If you want to change the label, you can just type whatever label you want here. If you don't have a label, it'll try to auto label it for you. So if you clear out all the cards and like choose like my wallets, and then that it'll auto label it based on the wallet name. The same with popular setups. So if you clear out all the cards and then click one of the popular setups like American Express Business, it'll try to auto label it for you, but you can come in here and label it whatever you would like. Now, if you have 2 to 3 cards, so it can't be just one card and it can't be more than 3 cards. So if you like, for example, if you chose a popular setup like these 3 American Express cash cards and you wanted to compare those to each other, you can press this button right here and it'll spread these out across the wallets. So it'll ask for your permission to do that, and then it'll put it across. So then if you want to just compare, the details, now these are all in the same system and everything, but which one has the better sign-up bonus and annual fee, and then coverage across your annual spend, you can do that there. You can also do that from the main page. So if you clear this out and you just come through here and you go, let's choose travel cards. So if you have 3 travel cards, so popular travel. So I want to compare these 3. I can either click here and it'll put it all in one wallet like this. And so they're all in the same wallet. Or I can just come down here and click on this compare to each other button and it will put them all in separate wallets. So now they're all in separate wallets, and it's kind of a quick, easy way of comparing the 3 cards together. And that way you could say, okay, this one's Capital One, Chase, American Express. These are Visa Infinites. This is American Express. Here's the point systems and so on. So it gives you a good way of like just comparing them one-on-one with each other, not necessarily all in the same wallet. Now you have these little quick filters. So I want to add to this list, and it was getting daunting already, but I want to add cool setups and options for you here. But it gets so long that it's like, it starts to become more of a hindrance than a help. And so I added these little quick filters here. So you can quickly just filter by Amex. You can filter by Cap One, Chase, Citi, all the major stuff. And I'm going to add more of these in here. And then you've got, like travel, hotel, groceries, all the trifectas and quadfectas in one view, cash cards. And again, I'm going to add to this over time. Feel free to send me what you think should be in there. That's fine too. Business cards and so on. And then, of course, you can just type. So if you just want Aviator to find that one, then you just type that in and there it is. and then you can compare those to each other or put those all in a wallet and so on. Also, that reminds me that if I go change my annual spending to like my normal travel spending, for example, and come back over to the wallet setups, I can add like my cards or just any wallet setup that you want to see this on. And then when you click in here, it now tells you which cards are unused. It goes through all of the spending categories and figures out which cards are in use, even if it's falling back to other cards and so on. It'll go through, figure out even the ones that are like falling back to other cards. When you come to this screen, it'll just tell you which ones are used. So you can go, oh, I'm not using this. Why do I have it? So I can cancel this one. I can cancel this one. I can cancel this one. I'm not using that. I'm not using that. I'm not using that. Now you know which cards are just not necessary. All very exciting. There's gonna be probably some small bugs here and there. I know of a couple, nothing major, nothing in the calculations, nothing in the normal usage, just some of the niche uses. I see a couple bugs I'll have to figure out and fix. But if you guys find anything weird, buggy, whatever, just send me an email, support@richardpoints.com, and I will take a look, and I appreciate it. So if you find any value in this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Go sign up for the website. It's perfectly free. You can go do this yourself, and we will see you next time.